Do you believe that accounting firms that don't adopt AI will disappear in the next few years?
This is unstoppable right now. So we really have in the future AI as an employee in our companies. And this employee is smarter than a lot of people.
At the moment, people are preparing for this shift already, or they still see it a little bit far ahead?
I think the majority see it as a far future. The AI is smarter because we work the whole day with it.
Yeah.
This is what I think will be in the future.
Is there a challenge when it comes to why AI is still lagging behind on financial?
I think it's the trust.
Thank you for joining in on our third episode of AI Deep Makers. Today, as our guest, we have Annick. Yeah, Annick, for me, someone I see always within LinkedIn, on the posts, on the activities she's doing. She's really immersed in the world of accounting, entrepreneurship, and making complex financial topic accessible for business owners, mainly entrepreneurs, and especially here in Germany, because definitely it's more tougher. Yeah. And this is something that Annick is dedicating herself into to make entrepreneurs feel confident in control of their numbers. And yeah, I love also the brand she's built. It's really amazing to see how you're really on the cutting edge of branding, marketing, content creation, and also the usage of AI. And yeah, just how professional all of your branding is. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Annick.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, thank you. And yeah, so just to give a little bit of background, and then maybe that would be definitely a good segue. So we met definitely as we aligned and we had a couple of discussions about AI use actually in accounting and how you see that, what kind of opportunities you see with the with entrepreneurs you're working with and with yourself. And that led to really great conversation, really insightful conversation. So maybe we start from there because I believe that's a good touching point. Still, we know that your expertise in accounting, but interested to know at this current day, like what AI constitutes within your day-to-day workflow.
Well, I use it nearly in almost every task because I like organizing with AI and writing posts and doing some automations. It really saves me a lot of time. So I'm a big and huge fan of technique as well because this is a little bit of my DNA and I always test new tools and I can see the overwhelming features that are in the market. So this is a little bit of a challenge to focus on one tool or one task because every day there's a new feature or a new software. But I really love it to integrate it into my daily work.
And I think this is going to be definitely in the coming days a little bit more important also in the tools that are specific to accounting, so the Intuit tools and such. Do you see them adopting actually rather like in a good manner to AI, or do you see them still a little bit behind?
In the accounting, there is a long way to go in Germany. It could be really, really helpful. So I'm trying to figure out if I can create a little bit of a chatbot, like from my knowledge for the solopreneurs, but it's really, really necessary now to implement the AI because tax here in Germany is so complicated and it really, really would help to do less mistakes. And every mistake you do in the accounting is always your money. You always have to pay with your time or either an expert who helps you figuring out what was wrong. And yeah, so I really look forward that the AI implements in a few years, but I think it's a way to go.
Yeah, indeed. And generally, like speaking of this topic, like which aspects actually of accounting and which aspects of needs that entrepreneurs have within this domain you think it's most potential for AI to help with? Like which things you say, okay, this definitely I would love AI to take.
Well, to do the accounting itself, like I have a receipt and then I don't know what tax plan it should go to. Like we have like a DATEV, so it has to have the tax key for it. And since I'm not employed as a specialist here, for a normal user, it's really hard to decide whether to book it. And I think this is the most potential in the first step. Since every person here in Germany is really individual, I don't think that the text, as you can say, the text management could be passed out, but I think for the daily work, it would be a great help, like chatbots, or really to implement. Hey, I have a receipt. Should I do with it? That would really, really help.
And maybe also it's good to take the audience through maybe a little bit of step back to the bigger picture. And this is something definitely you see this, and you're definitely an expert on this, which is what are the challenges that entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs mainly, also face here in Germany when it comes to accounting? Like, what do you see the main challenges? What do you help them, or what do you, think they need help on the most?
Well, I used to hate accounting. So I'm in the business now for 21 years.
Yeah.
And really, this was the last on the list because I really had no idea how it works. So it was like a big black box. And I think to make it more easy would be the first step. Like, really, that the accounting itself is like automated. That would help to get nearer or closer look of the figures. What is my salary at the end of the day as a solopreneur is the most important question, and nobody can answer it right now because they nearly can see the figures for the month or the year. And since they don't know what they have to pay on taxes, they really don't know what their own salary is. And this is the major thing that we're forcing. And of course, the main topic because why all of the solopreneurs get broke.
Yeah. And it is indeed very complex. So I think you showed me one of the products offerings you offer, and it's a really very detailed way for them to really easily input the numbers and have easily an output of what kind of estimations and what exactly kind of numbers they can expect to, right?
Yeah. And this is my goal, that every solopreneur knows if this is worth it, what they are doing, before they have their tax information 1 or 2, 3 years later. This is too late because then they have to pay in advance and a lot of money. And this is most of the time something which they are not calculating it. Yeah. And they have a big problem then.
Can AI help in the lack of knowledge generally when it comes to taxes, what kind of taxes they need to pay in general? Or do you think solo entrepreneurs are very much more interested in just direct numbers? What exactly can they expect?
I think it could be either way. Since we don't have it in school or in the apprenticeships or even in some study cases, we're really not familiar with taxes, financial accounting, and stuff like that. I think there is a really good way if we could implement it both. So, first of all, seeing the daily financial figures, and then really looking into the future. What does it mean at the end of a year? And then adopting, like, for example, the tier, and not afterwards. So
Yeah.
this would really help. And I see there is a lot of potential in it.
I believe that's definitely like a helpful tool. And I believe also you got like amazing feedback from the solo entrepreneurs you worked with already. So what do you think it's the challenge now enabling more, like bringing this into more people, like helping more? Is it the lack of awareness that this is needed? Like, what is the first, if we were to put our hats as like a solo entrepreneur right now, how do they deal with this?
I think they're a little bit fierce and forced. So they don't love it to take care about their financials. And this is why, you know me a little bit. I'm doing it a little bit sense of humor inside and don't taking myself too hard. So I tell them always my stories, which my failures were. And I really think that this is the first step, that this topic is more, as you can say, sexy. This is more a thing that they want to do, because if they take care about their daily financial work, they are, yeah, they're more self-confident about sales and productism, or even, yeah, calculating their own salary. Because at the end of the year or at the end of the month, it is really the most important question: is it worth it what I'm doing? Because we really work a lot of hours, and if this is, you're not paying my private bills, it's not really sensible. So my goal is to make it, the knowledge, a little bit more easy to understand, because I think this is the first step we have to make. And if they really get into that flow, that financial work makes fun, because then they have a good salary output,
Yeah.
then they really have a lot of self motivation.
Yeah. Yeah. And Like, of course, like we're just seeing glimpses of what AI can do at the moment. Definitely nowhere near as it's hyped to be in some cases. But do you envision it at a certain point in the future, maybe near? Like, how near would you envision it that it can already maybe take the full workload of financial calculations from people? Or do you think definitely some aspects will still remain that needs to be handled by humans?
I think the daily figures can be handled, like do I have a good cash flow and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But when it comes up to tax advisements, I think you still need a tax accountant because this is in Germany a really high personal thing. Like if you're married, if you're not married, if you whatever, you have so many circumstances which are forcing your tax payments that I think there you need specialists. But I think the overall calculation is just one thing. You have to be a kind of brave to give the AI your figures because this is a little bit like opening up your box of Pandora. So I think this is basically the first step that the people have to get used to it, that it is normal that somebody as a third party tool knows their accountant and their figures better than they
Yeah.
know.
Which is a good topic actually you opened here, which is trust. And trust when dealing with AI, of course, like you need to trust like the people you deal with when it comes to accounting. And first and foremost, you enable entrepreneurs to trust themselves, to have the
Yeah.
knowledge to know and trust themselves. But when it comes to AI, do you think at the moment you would trust AI for this?
Basically, I have both of the feelings in my stomach. So the first thing is that I'm really keen on testing new tools and features, but I really have the second thing that going on to my mind. Okay, if the AI knows myself better than I do,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody gets to that point of data because I don't know where it's stored,
Yeah.
yeah, they have kind of a funny feeling inside. I'm really honest.
And it is a big topic at the moment, especially because, and this is the truth about AI, is that the more it knows, the more it's useful. But at the same time, the more it knows, the more it's risky, right?
Yeah.
And that's then like then the challenge at the moment is whether like is it something that needs to be like you manage your own data, or is it something that at least can be protected within Europe? And also there is also a lot of initiatives that like for AI and like cloud sovereignty here in Europe to have like cloud that's being done in the same region where you are. But do you believe at a certain point people, including maybe you, would get over this fact, or you think it would always be like top of the mind?
We will. I mean, this is unstoppable right now.
Yeah.
So we really have in the future AI as an employee in our companies, and maybe this employee is smarter than a lot of people in our companies. So I think within a few years we will have this situation because people can adapt and the brain can adapt real fast and it will be normal. Like for new generations, it is normal to use the smartphone, but in my generation, it was, in younger ways, it was normal just to have one TV program and you have to be on time to watch that program. So I think the time is so fast that we will get used to it. But if you ask myself if I would like to manage my own data, that would be great. So I would feel more comfortable to do on that. But we will see where it goes.
Yeah, but you're definitely right. Like about the AI being an employee actually and being part of every organization. And I think for accounting that is definitely coming, and it's just a matter of time. And so maybe to explore this kind of aspect, like having now an AI support onto accounting within like firms, maybe like take it a little bit more on a larger scale than just on solo entrepreneurs, but for accounting firms and such. Do you think do you think at the moment people are preparing for this shift already, or they still see it a little bit far ahead?
Yeah, I think the majority see it as a far future.
Yeah.
And I think it's not right in front of the door, it is already passed in. So it is part. I mean, look at your software on your desktop. In every or nearly every feature, we have some AI included. Whether you see it or not. I mean, every software is heading out to implement it in some way. Like if you go to your mail program that you have an AI button or whatever, and I think to use it in a good manner is more important than rather thinking it's not there. but we have to take care about. So I'm just starting to do an AI workshop here locally, a whole day for really have hands on it, that you don't have any fear of touching points to that. Even if you start or if you are more professional, that we have some topics. I think we have to do some more work to show how the people work with it and not rather think it's not there.
Exactly, or just like hoping it's still a little bit far away and not looking. But that's amazing. So, and this is also something I appreciate, as I mentioned at first. So you're always looking at the cutting edge of how things are being done, and always like improving and striving also to provide the best services and offerings. So that's amazing. So you said you're looking into AI. Do you think when it comes to these kind of firms, do you think the shift is going to be so big that the risk is it more than the reward? So is it something that can be a painkiller that right now needs to be fixed? Or is it something that it's going to improve, it's going to enhance productivity, but it's not something that's going to kill the firms that maybe don't adapt as fast?
I think it depends which branch you have. So I think in accounting it is really necessary to implement it, but I cannot see that this will work in the next 1 or 2 years. So we have to take some time here. But in other company or resources, you can see like graphics, writing books, artists like creating videos, music, whatever. The AI is really, really present. So I think they have to learn how to use it. It will not kill their job, but it will make a huge impact of their businesses.
And what do you think, again, maybe this is also something you're still looking into, of course, but what do you think an easiest way for an accounting firm or for a similar provider as you to start with AI right now? What is the first things that they can implement within their day-to-day already?
You mean in financial?
Yeah.
There is not a lot. I think like creating social media or something like that, that there is really a lot of tools, but in financial for either for solopreneurs or smaller companies,
Mm-hmm.
right now, I cannot see that there are many tools. So I think they will come.
Yeah.
But the main basis, and I'm discussing it with big software companies, the base is that we have a good data. If the solopreneurs don't put their invoices in and match that with their bank account, you can have the best software in the world. You won't get the figures. So
Yeah.
this is why I always try to get a good fundament for everybody and having a good workflow, like don't miss any receipts and stuff like that, being on time and having really my tax ready when I have to pay it and know the figures. This is really the thing that mainly a lot of companies have to do first.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's quite human, the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So you can add smart AI, but still like a human needs to be up to the level to provide the data, to provide the baseline support for it. But what do you think? And we already discussed a little bit of these challenges. So we discussed about trust. We discussed also, you mentioned right now, like human input, the human aspect of it, like of the collaboration. Is there another challenge when it comes to why AI is still lagging behind on financial?
I think it's the trust. Yeah, I think a lot of the people cannot imagine to put in their figures, which is really the most secret here in Germany. Nobody talks about their financials. I think this is a point where probably the AI has it a little bit harder than doing a social media post.
So I think this is like the potential or opportunity is like tackling trust actually aspect of it is going to be one of the biggest enabler actually of AI in
Yeah.
this sector.
Yeah, and since a lot of companies, to be honest, is not in Germany or in the EU,
Yeah.
probably this is something where the people take a closer look. You know, we have like now in the health business, we have like the digital, how do you say that? Like a pass.
Mm-hmm.
And some people trust and some people don't. And right now you have the choice, either you want it or not. But I think in looking up to the future, everybody will have it, or if we have digital money.
Yeah.
So it will change within the next 5 to 10 years really, really fast, I guess.
But I think it depends also, as you said exactly, on the culture. Also, how that plays. And a good example would be digital money. So you mentioned that. For example, my perception of Germany, the culture here is a little bit more of avoidance of digital money or to go fully because it's still like cash heavy culture, I would suppose. And I think that also play around with the kind of things that people need to focus when offering services for these kind of demographic, for this kind of culture. And so that makes it in a way actually that the first step is enabling trust, so that means a human enabler such as you provide services and educate AI. So which brings us maybe back to the offering that we discussed beforehand, that you're working on a couple of offerings so for solo entrepreneurs. So maybe can you take us quickly into, if I was a solo entrepreneur right now, what is the first thing that I need to take care, or what is the first thing I can get of help from you?
The first thing is really to like tidy up your finances, because this is the fundament. If you have like a splitted bank account, some solopreneurs just have one bank account, and our brain is not made for a bank account and then sorting out where goes what and how many budget do I have to spend. So this is basically the first step that I really like within the Profit First system. I'll take care that they split everything carefully so they can separate business and private things. And in the second part, I'll give them some workflows, like, having an invoice, neither it's paper or it comes digitally, where to go, and only the touching point is one or two times and not searching for the receipts. This is really, really the main thing, because then if I really have my paper or digital receipt, it is really easy to make an automation and then, yeah, pass it on to the like tax software. And basically, if you do that correctly, you have a lot of fun
Mm-hmm.
because you don't search, and then you have the numbers. Like, you really can see, okay, this was my revenue, what I did this month, and then you can adopt it into your sales, and then you can see, okay, this is what I make on cash the whole year, and then you can calculate backwards. This is what I've done with my solopreneur calculator, and then you can see how much tax and, for example, health insurance you have to pay, and then you're one step ahead to other people who really have to wait for their tax receipts at the end of the next 1 or 2, 3 years. So basically, you avoid a lot of surprises, which are really, really expensive.
Yeah, especially when dealing with, as you said, with the tax system here in Germany. I believe it's one of the most complex. Like, how is it complex to deal with it?
I think the most complex thing is that you don't know really what, at the end of the month, what is your money and what is what you have
Government's money.
spent. This is so, like, if you're my customer and you give me 100 euros, it depends if my year is really great, how much money I have to give to the state, or either if I pay, or if I have a really good year, I have to pay more health insurance.
Uh,
I don't calculate with these numbers. I always work for less money because this is always on top, and most of the solopreneurs don't know how to calculate this.
And I think it's quite life changing, like going from, especially with having a first time solo entrepreneur. So, do you deal also most with first time solo entrepreneurs? How are they? Because I can imagine there's quite a lot of uncertainty, quite a lot of questions, unclarities, and then comes also the tax aspect of it and so on. So, I can imagine it's definitely life changing for them, like to really be secure about these their financials and everything. So you mentioned, again, to take it like a step back to summarize. So you mentioned being educated on how to really set up first the baseline of bank accounting, and then of course to have like a good habit and a good processes for tracking invoices, for keeping track of all of the spends and so on, and then utilizing, as you mentioned, calculators on professional help then to really get a clear idea actually of what's left at the end, to what's needs to go to the government and so on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because then, this is what I've done before. I really was happy if I don't have to pay any taxes, but this is stupid because then I don't earn a lot of money. So right now I shifted a kind of a mindset that it's good to pay taxes, but if you start your business in Germany, you don't have any education at the start to really calculate this salary. And if you don't know this, you just start right away. And then, a lot of people say, wow, it's so expensive what you do. But they don't know that we have to pay everything out of our cash. And sometimes this is really the most important thing, to know these information and then to calculate back. I can see that there is a lot of work to do, that the people can do this by themselves.
Yeah, but exactly. So education is the first step, and then any other processes, so the calculator, as you mentioned, including also AI, being a support, can comes after that. But education need to be as a baseline of all
Yeah.
of these decisions.
It's like you want to drive and you don't have your driver license. It's
Yeah.
something like that, similar. You start your business, but you don't have a business driver license, so you don't know where to navigate.
Which is sometimes misunderstood, especially from my point of view, as in from the AI builder's point of view, which that we see AI as always like a replacer, right? Like something that you say, okay, you don't have to deal with that. But I believe when it comes to financials, it's definitely like literature, like financial education is very important. And I think nothing, no AI can can replace the need for the solo entrepreneurs themselves to have that. Then maybe just to go into quick takes, again, not like so much serious, but kind of a hot takes segment to get that reactions from you. Again, we know that you're the expert in your own domains, not in the AI. But from your gut reaction as someone from there, I would lay out a couple of bullet points and just get like a quick gut reaction on that. Do you think in 10 years, most accountants will be more of AI supervisors rather than number crunchers?
I think they will be more tax advisors using
That's,
the AI.
that's a good
So
point.
really focusing how tax can be calculated more easily for the individuals.
And but I believe the audit is not your domain of expertise. I believe so, right? Then maybe we change it because I have a couple of the points here about audits. But do you think I would make at least the number crunching part of, I think exactly what you mentioned. So you will make the number crunching part of accounting completely automatic, right? Okay. And do you believe that accounting firms that don't adopt AI will disappear in the next few years?
It could be in 10 years that they're still there, but I don't think that a lot of people will use them.
Okay. Okay. Uh, that comes as the hand in hand on what we discuss about trust. Do you think clients would trust AI generated financial reports more than human made ones?
In 10 years, probably yes.
Okay. Okay. So you think we're still far away from, we still have some work to be done
We
there.
still have some work to do, but I think yeah, in 10 years, yeah.
Okay. Then, couple last 2 points. First one is, do you think regulators would struggle to keep up with AI in accounting, or that would not be a problem as it would be more of an enhancer and
In
performance?
Germany, it will be.
Okay. Okay. In which aspects do you think? Or like in which way?
Well, we have a lot of like, where is the data hosted and stuff like that.
Mm,
And I think with this, it's DSGVO, so where the data is hosted. And
yeah.
since we have a lot of software where it's based in the US and stuff like that, I think this will be a problem.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine. The last point is, do you think AI would make a professional, like accounting professional or accounting as a service, more profitable or less profitable?
I think more for everybody. So the people don't waste so much time spending time on useless things in the accounting. They really can look more forward to earn more money than less making the accounting stuff. And I don't think that the amount of tax people is not there to handle it, because we have two less here in Germany. So it will be a big deal for everybody, that everybody is participating and win.
I would love also to take another segment, which is AI or accountant, and basically going through just a couple of aspects, couple of processes of accounting, and getting again your gut reaction or your first impression of on what do you think who would do it better in the next years, right?
Mhm.
Ready? The first one is catching fraud.
Can you translate this to me?
That means going through multiple documents and catching like an audit process, maybe like catching if there's like fraud in some documentation, basically documents
Okay,
analysis
AI.
and such. Okay,
That's
okay,
easy.
okay. AI or accountant, who would do it better? Explaining financial reports to clients.
Depends on the accountant. Maybe AI.
Okay, that's a next good one. Goes also back to what you mentioned. AI or accountant, who would do it better? Tax optimization strategy.
I think in the future it needs both.
Okay, okay, so it's
It could be really great if these two circumstances work together. I won't say it could be just one.
More of a collaboration. I think it's like some support kind of, but still some human creative thinking actually and analysis.
Yeah,
there.
I think the analysis definitely AI, but at the end, giving the last advice will be personal.
Yeah, especially because there's stake in that advice, right? It's going to be applied, and like so the human at the end need to pull the trigger, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Kind of close to the first point. AI or accountant who would do it better spotting human errors in spreadsheets.
Can you say it again?
Spotting or like detecting human errors in spreadsheets.
Oh, AI.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Who would do it better, AI or accounting? Business consultant?
I guess AI will be the first to ask.
Okay. And then the last one, AI or accountant, who would do it better? Predicting future cash flow.
AI.
Okay. So people need to definitely learn about AI going forward.
Yeah, I guess, because, the bigger picture will be collecting all the information the whole time. The AI is smarter because we work the whole day with it.
Yeah.
This is what I think will be in the future. So this is like a little bit your twin. And since the whole information is in the brain of the AI, it probably can give you better advices than an accountant who only sees you, I don't know, once in a month or only yearly.
It's a good point. So that close connection and closeness to the person, to the human, to its data, it's going to be like one of the edges of AI on top of this fast analysis and such.
Yeah. I think really the summary and working closer to the AI is the most advantage of that software.
Okay. And then coming to a good conclusion with kind of a like personal / future visioning question. So what would you hope to happen in the next 5 to 10 years in this domain, in the accounting / financial domains?
That the really easy builds will be just in the accountant and is set it correctly with the taxes. Hopefully this really works within the next 1 or 2, 3 years, because this is a work, some of the persons I know say we're not born or started to make accounting if we're self-employed. We want to help the people. So it would be really, really great if this like manual stuff will be automated through the AI. And I think that there is like 90% what they can do for us. So this is the nearest future. And at the end, what you just said, calculating cash flow or calculating prices, for my point of view, I don't calculate prices for the market. I calculate prices that I can live from that, what I do. And this will be hopefully, quite soon as well. So hopefully 3 to 5 years that this will be normal to set up like an AI accountant for myself.
Okay, hopefully like the sooner the better. But again, like as you mentioned, the good baseline needs to come with it of trust, of data handling, of also avoiding errors actually, because also financials is not something that's fine with errors,
No, I made a lot of myself and they were always expensive. This is why I said, okay, other people can save them since I've done them already. So I'll give them some advices how to avoid them. But it's a little bit like if you tell a child not to get in touch with hot stuff, sometimes you have to do this to know that it's hot. So we will still make some mistakes, but probably not so many so expensive mistakes. Yeah.
Okay. Then as a conclusion point, so we already mentioned your offerings, and also I will link to the website. Again, so people should definitely follow you, especially solo entrepreneurs within the German region, because you definitely offer like great advice, great content. And what would be the first step for them that you can start with? So you mentioned, are you offering this in terms of as a workshop or as like a self-serve lesson, or maybe something different?
What they can do when they want to work with me?
Yeah.
First of all, I will open up my academy so they can really have my whole knowledge there for small money, because I really want to educate them. I always do live webinars, which are for free, or I'm opening up my YouTube channel so they can follow me there.
Okay.
And if they really want to work with me, like if they want to focus more on, basically more on the success than what they earn in summary from their customers, like I want to have more after paying taxes for me in my pocket. they can have, how do I say that, revolutionary espresso, and then we can see if I really can guide them to
Okay.
be smarter than their tax accountant, or
Okay.
not smarter, to know it in advance, their own figures, and they really can talk about consulting with their tax accountants and not if they miss any invoices. So
Yeah.
I want to change that.
Knowledge at the end of the day is power. So the more
Yeah.
you know, the more you can handle your business. And of course, even though this aspect is not what solo entrepreneurs goes to be entrepreneurs for, but again, like knowing this and handling this aspects gives them power to better serve the customer. So thank you, Annick. Thank you for being here. Wish you a lovely rest of the day. And yeah.
Thank you.